Today I want to talk about 5 things I learnt the hard way as a designer. And these weren't little things, these were things that had me banging my head on the table. Hey dudes, my name's Brom and welcome to Brom Does Design. I've been in the design game for about 20 years now, which officially makes me old. These days, I'm head of user experience design and product design at an international psychometrics company based in the UK. When I'm not obsessing over design, you can probably find me in a gym trying and often failing to lift weights way beyond my capability. Whether you've been in the design industry for years or are just starting out, hopefully some of these will help you avoid the same mistakes that I did. Number 1. Don't forget the fundamentals of design. Let's talk about the basics. So grid systems, typography, fonts, spacing, contrast, colors. You know, all those things that when you put them together make your design actually look good. When I first started out, I had this crazy idea that I could just let my creativity run wild. Grids, who needs them? As I casually tossed buttons all over my design, hoping that the design gods would eventually bless this thing and make it good. They didn't. Turns out I really needed grids, and you probably will too. Without these fundamentals in place, your design may look good, but something will always feel a little bit off. You'll keep staring at your work thinking, why doesn't this feel right? Chances are you've overlooked the fundamentals. As an illustration of this, imagine 2 designs. The first one, you've got everything just thrown into the page. No grids were used, typography is random, headings are different sizes, font types are different, the color palette is even pretty wild. Now contrast this with a structured design that uses the fundamentals. You'll notice proper spacing, consistent typography, a simple color palette that makes sense. Get these fundamentals down early on and it will save you a ton of time in the future. Trust me. Number 2, don't just focus on the design itself, focus on who you're designing for. Once upon a time, I designed a beautiful modern UI that I was so proud of. It had clean lines, bold typography, a minimalist color palette. I thought it was a masterpiece. The problem was that it was so sleek and minimalist that no one, literally no one, could actually use it. What happened was I was designing for myself, not for the actual people who were going to be using it. I think I was more focused on impressing my boss and my peers than actually really digging into the problems that my design could solve for the people. Most users don't really care about a pretty design if they can't figure out how to use it. You're not designing for an awards panel, you're designing for the person on a train trying to book a ticket with one hand, or the parent juggling a toddler and trying to make dinner while using your app. They don't care if your color palette screams modern and minimalist. They just want something that works. They usually want a smooth, seamless experience that doesn't require any extra brain power. If your design makes sense to other designers, but leaves your users scratching their heads, you've probably missed the mark. Imagine a form, which is a cluttered mess with no clear instructions. And on the other side, you've got a clean, simple form that even your grandma could use with her eyes closed. It's not always about looking good. It's got to perform the task that the user is there to do really easily. Number 3. Don't forget, your design is only one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Here's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. Your design is probably not the center of the universe. That homepage you've been designing for the past 2 days, it's only one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Whether that's the website itself, the product suite that it sits within, the sales process, the marketing process, the support process even. All of these stakeholders are working on their part of the big puzzle. If your design doesn't work in the context of the bigger picture, you're just creating an island for yourself. And as cool as your island might be, it's a lonely place. It's also not going to win you any fans when it doesn't connect with the rest of the organization or your teammates. Let's say you've designed a really amazing looking app, but you didn't consider technical limitations, say load times or platform restrictions. Or maybe you forgot to consider the brand's tone of voice, and now your app feels totally out of sync with the rest of the organization. It's kind of like turning up to a black tie event wearing a Hawaiian shirt. So how'd you get past this? Take the time to speak to your colleagues and teammates. Really understand how what you're doing fits in with the wider picture. Your design will be much stronger for it, and your inbox will thank you too. Passive-aggressive emails, anyone? Number 4, working with other designers can be a challenge. Design teams. Working with other designers is incredible. They can push you to new heights and really help you solidify your design skills. They can also make you question every single decision you've ever made. I've been in many debates with other designers over the years. Once, for example, I had a heated debate with another designer over whether the save button should be green or blue. In the end, the button ended up red for reasons. I still have no idea why we chose that colour. The thing is, not every design decision has to be a heated debate. Sometimes you just need to trust your teammates' expertise and move on. I've got caught up in way too many design decisions like that over font choices or something else really small just because it didn't feel right. Remember to step back and look at the bigger picture. Teamwork can be tough, but it can lead to much better solutions when you're all working together. Number 5, you will probably hate your designs within a year, a month, a week, a day, even a couple of hours, but that's okay. The hard truth of it is you will hate your designs eventually, probably all of them. The one you're super proud of today, in 6 months you'll be scratching your head going, what on earth was I thinking? I've been there many times. In fact, scrolling through some work recently, I was almost a little sad to see the things that I'd put together. But the good news is, if you cringe at your past designs, that's probably a good thing. It means you're growing. It means that design that you've done in the past that you look at now, you can spot the differences that you need to make to that to improve it, to make it better. If you're still loving everything you've put together 10 years ago, it probably means you're stuck in a bit of a design comfort zone, and nothing good gets designed in a comfort zone. So embrace the cringe. It's a sign that you're evolving. So that's 5 lessons I've learned as a designer the hard way. I've learned many more too, like don't eat the yellow snow and don't draw on babies' faces with a permanent marker. Yeah, still not sure how I got out of that one. Hopefully you won't repeat any of these mistakes, but let's be honest, you probably will, but that's okay. It's all part of the journey. If you found this video useful or even mildly entertaining, give it a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments the biggest mistakes you've made as a designer so I can feel less alone in my misery. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Grids, who needs them? As I casually tossed buttons hither and thither. Hither and thither? What is that?